All right, let's talk nets. Our flagship product is the Piranha net. And the Piranha net has a lot of awesome features on it. Probably my favorite part is the fact that it's got the scooping edge that will go down literally, you can use it to go down literally and just kind of push it along the floor of a pool. If there's a BB down there, if there's like a little screw, sometimes those are really hard to get out, an earring, rocks, and honestly even bricks. We pulled bricks out of pools with these things because they're really strong. That's kind of the one of the real advantages of this net, is that it's going to go down and it's going to scoop little stuff out, but it's also strong enough to get the really big stuff. The Piranha PA 500 is the 18-inch bag. Excuse me, it has the 18-inch bag on it. Piranha PA 500 net has an 18-inch bag, and it comes with the standard black skimmer fabric. It's all triple stitched because we want to give it as much life as we can. You got to think about all the times that you spin a corner or drag it on the floor. Next thing you know, this edge is getting some wear on it as it touches the plaster or pebble tack. And so we triple stitch our bags to make sure that there's a nice distance in between the first part of the seam and then, of course, the last stitch that'll help it last longer. Again, this is an 18-inch bag. And it's easy to replace. You don't need any tools or anything like that. You can literally just pop the rim off, and you'll notice that they have Velcro on them. The Velcro on our bags helps it stay on there while you assemble it and while you change out the lip. So in this case, assuming that we had changed the bag out because it is a replaceable part, all you would have to do is put the Velcro back around the edge, snap the lip back on, and you're good to go. The Piranha also comes with some other types of bags. So we have the PA 560, which is a Piranha with a deep bag. It's exactly the same as the one I just showed you, except for this now has a 24-inch bag. And the nice thing about this is that, first of all, you can scoop a lot of stuff out of the pool with this. And if you needed to really fill it up, maybe you have a lot of leaves all piled up on the bottom, down by the drain or something, you can just reach down, again, use that scooping edge, take advantage of it in a strong frame. You don't have to worry about breaking it. Just lean on it, scoop as much as you can off the bottom. And if you've got to fill this whole thing up, that's perfectly fine. A lot of guys like this net because not because they're going to be filling it up, but because the debris in it is a little further back. Because when it comes time to twist and turn and you're chasing after stuff, you might have to stop. You don't want it coming out through the front as the water wants to push it sometimes. Instead, you can kind of go for less debris, but get it further back into the bag, and that gives you the flexibility and kind of the latitude to sort of stop and change direction without losing the whole load. But again, it's got the Velcro on it, just like we mentioned on the previous net. In fact, all of our nets have Velcro on them, and it's an easy change. And if for some reason at some time of the year you like the shorter net, or maybe you've never used a more commercial tool like this, and you're used to something very light, maybe the PA 500 is the best one to start with because it's close to what you're used to. But if you don't mind something with a little bit more drag, but then again, there's some other benefits as well, you can switch over to this, and you'd only have to buy the replacement bag. You wouldn't need to buy the whole frame because we do sell these bags separately, as I'll show you later. So in the meantime, that's a PA 560. That's a Piranha net with a deep bag. Sometimes people would like to have a wider mouth. And so this is a wide mouth Piranha. It's almost identical to the others, except for the size and the shape are a little bit different on some things. For example, the mouth of this net is a few inches wider than that of the other two that I showed you. But it's still the same great lip, and it still has a very strong frame. It's all the same stuff. And because it's a little bit wider, we did kind of create a bag that's not quite as deep as the deep bag on the PA 560, but it's not as short as the bag on the PA 500, the standard bag. So it's a pretty good size for that. It gives you extra chance to scoop things off the bottom or even clean the surface, and it helps having a little bit longer bag. It keeps that debris in the back as well. So this is a real popular item too. For those who are trying to get the finer debris out of a pool, maybe things that are floating around on the surface, or even it's possible that, and you probably have all seen it, sometimes you get to a pool and the thing is immaculate, except for maybe the top step has some sand on it, or maybe there's a spa that you don't want to put a vacuum hose in because half the time the vac hose is dirtier than the spa. Well, it's nice to get that little stuff out too, and you can get it out with a net. And of course the Piranha has this scoop, so even sand and other little tiny things on its top step, you can grab them. Of course, this is a fine mesh fabric, so this will catch sand. It catches pollens. We've had fires in California where we're from, and people use these to get the ashes out. A lot of it what they were able to capture here. So we reinforce the actual bag on the back by putting a second layer of fabric, because if you're working with the tool in the water and you actually somehow or another through abrasion or whatever get a hole in it, it's really not a fine mesh bag anymore. So we thought we'd add an extra layer to make sure that that none of it gets damaged on the area where it's coming in contact the most with the pool surfaces. So this is a really great item, especially at the end if you just want to go through and kind of polish the pool, so to speak, around the top, get it really nice and clean, get the little ants and other things off the top at that one last go through before you walk out of the yard. So this is a great item as well. The recommendation I'd make on this is that being such a fine mesh fabric, you kind of want to drop it into the water a little bit differently than some of the other fabrics. So on the black skimmer fabric, like I showed you with the other nets, air can pass right through that. You can throw it in the pool and just keep working as fast as you want. This one will catch a little bit of air. And so what we don't want is to throw it in there and have a big air bubble, because then once you go down underwater, that air bubble is going to pull some of the debris out and it'll take it up, and now you've like made more work for yourself. So the recommendation I'm going to give you is that you put it into the surface kind of backwards, so that the air comes out, and then when it's underwater, do a quick turn, and that way you've reduced or even eliminated the chances of having air in the bag that later could pull some of the debris out. But it's a great item, especially for that little stuff, or like I said, a spa that doesn't need to be vacuumed, or just a quick once over at the end of cleaning. It's really, really good for that. Another item we've produced, which I really like, is the Piranha. It's a PA 533. We call this the Piranha with a quick flip bag. You won't be able to see it from here, but it does have a skimmer fabric, so this is not a fine mesh bag, and this is a mistake some people make. They see the white fabric, they think immediately, oh, okay, that must be a fine mesh bag, but this particular one is not. It has skimmer fabric weave on it, so the water and the water will pass through it like the normal black fabric, which is what we want. But in the meantime, the reason why we call it a quick flip bag is because when it's wet especially, you just literally flip it and the entire bag will fall inside out, and you can just whip it or give it a quick flip like that, and next thing you know, the whole bag is completely empty. Everything just flew out of it with a little quick snap. You can whip it and it all flies out, and then you flip it over again and it falls straight. So to translate that into daily use, if you're pulling debris out of the pool, especially some of the areas where there's a lot of debris and a lot of leaves, even places where you might have to put a trash can out by the side of the pool, like I've had to do a million times, you don't have to walk in there and scoop leaves out and then put your hand in a net and flip it inside out and dig all the little debris out. This one, being a quick flip, you just literally, it will just flip all on its own, turn it over, comes right back into place, and it's back into the pool. So it's the fastest of the cleaning fabrics that we have. The most durable obviously is going to be the black fabric because of the nature of the material, but this thing nonetheless is awesome because it just speeds things up. So the recommendation I'd make on this one is if you haven't used a flexible net like this, don't do what I did. The very first time I put it in the water, I was standing on the side of the pool. I thought, okay, there's some debris down there. I'll go down and get it. But because I had stopped and I wasn't paying attention, and because this is a flexible fabric, it had kind of moved in front. And this is before we were reinforcing the backside especially. It had kind of moved in front, and I was looking around. I thought, oh, there's the debris I wanted, and went down, and I literally didn't notice that it had wrapped around the front, and I went and I scraped it on the bottom and like sliced the net right in half. So you don't want to do that. I'm giving you the advice up front. Get it in the water. Because it's flexible, it's going to want to move with the way the water's moving. So you kind of have to, I don't want to say retrain yourself, because it's just a small little habit you want to change. Just kind of keep it moving forward. Because if you stop, of course, not only will the debris come forward, but so will the whole bag, and you don't want it to empty in front of you. Despite that, this is my favorite one, because once you kind of get used to always moving it forward, even if you're looking around, just kind of keep some water going through it. This is the fastest one to use. Literally go down, scoop things off the bottom, flip them out over the back fence. You didn't hear that from me, but just flip it out of there, and it's going to be clean and empty, and you can go back in and scoop some more. One of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to reconfigure the nets so that they could scoop even better and last even longer. And it took me a long time to figure this one out. But I finally was able to do it. And so now we have the Piranha II. It's the second version of the Piranha nets. This thing came out awesome. You probably won't be able to see it but from your vantage point, but this is actually a 1/4 inch longer. This scoop is actually longer than it is on the original Piranha nets. And if I could put them side by side, you may be able to see that there's a bit of a ridge here that has to do with kind of the shape of this scooping edge and the bar in it. And I thought to myself, well, I wonder if I could get that ridge out of it. And so it took a while, but I finally figured it out. This Piranha II has no ridge or a very slight little bump on it. In other words, it's very, very smooth from the tip all the way to the back edge. And what's nice about that is you can get down, scoop something up, and there will be no barrier to push it forward. The whole idea is that we should be able to slide under something and then with the least amount of effort get it to roll up into the net. And this we were able to accomplish by changing the configuration of the shape of the lip and its profile, and by changing the shape of the bar as well. So this came out beautiful as far as I'm concerned. You can go down and scoop the bottom, debris will go right in. And I think one of the best parts about it is that the way the scoop came out, it's not only just a little bit longer, but it's also a little bit thicker. So it lasts a long time, especially if you're on a PebbleTech surface, or some of those pools out there are, well, they kind of look like the moon. That white plaster so old is full of pock marks. This thing can stand up to that, and it'll really, really last. So for those who are looking to really shovel some things out of the pool, this is a very, very strong net with a great scooping edge on it. And to top it off, even if it's not going to be that heavy duty, you'll still find that it will last longer even than the original Piranha. And the Piranha II comes with all the same bags. Comes with your standard bag, the deep bag. It comes in a wide mouth version. It also uses the quick flip bag as well, and you can order those all assembled with those different bags on them, or like I mentioned before, you can change the bag. Actually, it's interchangeable with the original Piranha as well. Any of those nets will work on any of our frames, and you can change it out as needed. So if there's a time of the year where you kind of need more speed, you could put the shorter 18-inch bag on, or the quick flip bag, or if there's a time of the year where now you're going to be shoveling a lot of things out, or for some reason you want a longer bag, you could keep the same exact net, just put a new replacement bag on it, and that's the configuration you want, and you're good to go. As I mentioned earlier, the Piranha II comes in its different configurations of size and with different replacement bags. For example, this is a PA2 590. It's a Piranha II with the fine mesh bag on it. And just to give you an idea, we also have the PA800. So this is the wide mouth Piranha II. And again, the bags on the Piranha II are the exact same bags that are on the original Piranha nets. So they're all interchangeable. And when you buy one, you'll notice, I have a couple here, you'll notice that they'll have a little description on them. So in this case, I have a quick flip bag. This is the SS133. And so you'll want to, if you're trying to get that specific bag, make sure on the description that you're getting the right one, because again, they're both white fabric, and you want to be sure you get the one that you're looking for. Likewise, on any of the black fabric bags, they're going to be packaged very much the same, but in the meantime, you might want to double check the description. So this is a deep bag. It's an SS160. So you'll get them individually. We don't sell things in kits. You should be able to only buy the part you want, and that's all you should have to buy. So you can pick these up. All the different ones are going to be packaged like this. Just make sure you double check the description before you walk out the door. And then the actual replacement parts, like this lip, or even the green one, like we have on the Piranha net, that the original Piranha. This is a replaceable part, and it's sold individually. I'm going to recommend that you heat it up a little bit before you put it together. We do so at the warehouse when we assemble them. We warm up this strip. In our case, we put them under some hot air. I've known people that threw them in a hot spa. Sometimes you could put it on the inside on the dash of your truck. Maybe you're cleaning the pool and you come back out, and now it's going to be nice and warm. Perfect time to trade out, to switch out the parts, or maybe just lay it on the deck next to the pool. As long as it gets a little bit warmer than maybe it would be coming out of a warehouse, then it'll be a lot easier and more flexible to use. One of the things I also recommend is that when you go to put it on, you pretty much start on one side and you just kind of squeeze it and line it up and go in one direction. If you try and approach this where I'll snap part on, and maybe put the front, it's not going to work. Just start on one side, take your time, go around. When you get to the front, give it a twist forward, follow the frame because the frame has a twist, squeeze it, turn it back, and bring it around the side and wrap it up. But again, it's going to be much, much easier when it's warm. That's how we do it, and that's how you should do it.